People commonly travel the world over to see rivers and mountains, new stars, garish birds, freak fish, grotesque breeds of human. They fall into an animal stupor that gapes at existence, and they think they have seen something. It costs a man just as much or even more to go to hell than to come to heaven. Narrow, exceedingly narrow is the way to perdition. To the frivolous, Christianity is certainly not glad tidings, for it wishes first of all to make them serious. Irony limits, finitizes, and circumscribes, and thereby yields truth, actuality, content. It disciplines and punishes, and thereby yields balance and consistency. Maturity consists in the discovery that there comes a critical moment where everything is reversed, after which the point becomes to understand more and more that there is something which cannot be understood. Farther in heaven, when the thought of thee wakes in our hearts, let it not awaken like a frightened bird that flies about in dismay, but like a child waking from its sleep with a heavenly smile. Without risk, faith is an impossibility. Had I to carve an inscription on my tombstone, I would ask for none other than the individual /. The paradox is really the pathos of intellectual life, and just as only great souls are exposed to passions, it is only the great thinker who is exposed to what I call paradoxes, which are nothing else than grandiose thoughts in embryo. This, then, is the ultimate paradox of thought, to want to discover something that thought itself cannot think. No one may pride himself at being more than an individual, and no one despondently think that he is not an individual. It is very important in life to know when your cue comes. Once you are born in this world, you are old enough to die. To grumble about the world and its unhappiness is always easier than to beat one's breast and groan over oneself. The question of immortality is of its nature not a scholarly question. It is a question welling up from the interior, which the subject must put to itself as it becomes conscious of itself. To be a teacher does not mean simply to affirm that such a thing is so, or to deliver a lecture, etc. Life is lived forwards, but understood backwards. When you were called, did you answer or did you not? Perhaps softly and in a whisper. Destroy your primitivity, and you will most probably get along well in the world, maybe achieve great success, but eternity will reject you. Follow up your primitivity, and you will be shipwrecked in temporality, but accepted by eternity. Be that self which one truly is. I am a fork, and I will stick you. Are you not aware that there comes a midnight hour when everyone must unmask? A man who cannot seduce men cannot save them either. The paradox in Christian truth is invariably due to the fact that it is the truth that exists for God. The standard of measure and the end is superhuman, and there is only one relationship possible: faith. Where am I? Who am I? How did I come to be here? What is this thing called the world? How did I come into the world? Why was I not consulted? And if I am compelled to take part in it, where is the director? I want to see him. In the eyes of God, the infinite spirit, all the millions that have lived and now live do not make a crowd. He only sees each individual. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Whoever has learned to be anxious in the right way has learned the ultimate. Where unclarity resides, there is temptation, and there it proves only too easily the stronger. Wherever there is ambiguity, wherever there is wavering, there is disobedience down at the bottom. Which is more difficult, to awaken one who sleeps, or to awaken one who, awake, dreams that he is awake? Men who not religious or artists are fools. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness. Silence is the demon's trap, and the more one is silenced, the more terrible the demon. But silence is also the divinity's mutual understanding with the single individual. Confidence is the present tense of hope. The Bible is very easy to understand. But we Christians are a bunch of scheming swindlers. We pretend to be unable to understand it because we know very well that the minute we understand, we are obliged to act accordingly. A man's personality is matured only when he appropriates the truth, whether it is spoken by Balaam's ass or a sniggering wag or an apostle or an angel. At the bottom of enmity between strangers lies indifference. What a difference under the aesthetic sky! Everything is buoyant, beautiful, transient. When ethics arrives on the scene, everything becomes harsh, angular, and infinitely boring. It was completely fruitless to quarrel with the world, whereas the quarrel with oneself was occasionally fruitful and always, she had to admit, interesting. There are, as is known, insects that die in the moment of fertilization. So it is with all joy. Life's highest, most splendid moment of enjoyment is accompanied by death. Irony is a qualification of subjectivity. If you want to be loathsome to God, just run with the herd. Hope is passion for what is possible. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. How absurd men are! They never use the liberties they have, they demand those they do not have. They have freedom of thought, they demand freedom of speech. I need the enchantment of creative work to help me forget life's mean pettinesses. Sin is in itself separation from the good, but despair over sin is separation a second time. Dread is a sympathetic antipathy and an antipathetic sympathy. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. I see it all perfectly. There are two possible situations. One can either do this or that. My honest opinion, and my friendly advice is this: do it or do not do it. You will regret both. Theology sits roosed at the window and courts philosophy's favor, offering to sell her charms to it. I must find a truth that is true for me. It is more blessed to give than to receive, but then it is also more blessed to be able to do without than to have to have. The greatest hazard of all, losing one's self, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all. No other loss can occur so quietly. Any other loss, an arm, a leg, $5, a wife, etc., is sure to be noticed. There is peace and rest and comfort in sorrow.